I'm not here to glorify the violence and the things of the mafia, but the era itself is worth remembering. It's worth noting. And there's a lot of rich history there that you just can't ignore.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.
A couple things led to Youngstown being such a big mob town. Its location was key. It's about half the distance between New York and Chicago, as well as Cleveland and Pittsburgh, which each had their own crime family, La Cosa Nostra mafia family. So there was always kind of a struggle, a battle over the turf, who got to control parts of Youngstown. Now, keep in mind, Youngstown was a booming, thriving city for many years. The steel mills provided a lot of work, and those workers had paychecks to spend on vices that the mafia provided. It was also a big immigrant town. Lots of immigrants, especially Italians in this area, European immigrants that didn't look at vice as such a bad thing, right? So when alcohol started, there were people coming over that, drank wine religiously.
Right.
People that made it, people that bootlegged it. So, that was kind of when the mafia became big in the United States, was around Prohibition. But in Youngstown, even after Prohibition, it really thrived due to the gambling. People loved to gamble in this area. And the steel workers loved to gamble. The mob was, that was their biggest kind of moneymaker in Youngstown for years and years, was the gambling. And so people, they went to war over it a lot. And, people just wanted these services here. So the mob provided it. And then the last component that makes Youngstown such a huge mob town was the corruption of public officials. So the mob can't really control an entire city without people within city government allowing it to happen. And something about Youngstown, a lot of people looked the other way. A lot of people were happy to get the little paycheck, the little payday, and allow, whether it was the sheriff, a judge, a prosecutor. There's plenty of examples in Youngstown dating back 100 years of corrupt city officials. I'm not here to glorify the violence and the things of the mafia, but the era itself is worth remembering. It's worth noting. And there's a lot of rich history there that you just can't ignore.
So what are we, I guess, what can people expect at the show Thursday?
Well, they can expect a good time, first of all. It's going to be fun. We've got a variety of stuff happening, some live music acts. We've got some guests. We're gonna dive into some historical stuff. We're gonna dive into
surprise guests.
We've got some surprise guests as well. Okay. Yes, Rick Perello is one of our featured guests. He is a true crime author. He was a former police chief in Cleveland area. He wrote the book which became a movie, To Kill the Irishman, about Danny Green.
Right. Yeah.
He'll be here to talk about the connections with Youngstown. He's a friend of ours. He is a member of another show that we do called the Vice Squad. So Rick will be here. We'll have some voices from Crooked City, the podcast that I helped produce last year. Some fan favorites, some wise guys. You'll hear at least one of your fan favorites with an interview that night. And we have a surprise guest that I cannot, ruin, but he really did us a big favor by giving us his time, and really, I think the people are going to love it. People can find us on, it's youtube.com/amazing podcast company. That's where we premiere all of our weekly Mob Talk chats and our Vice Squad podcasts and some of our new shows we're working on. You should also join the Youngstown Mob on Facebook. It's a group. We've got over 28,000, approaching 29,000 members. And there's tons of history in that group. People share pictures, stories, files. But join the Youngstown Mob group on Facebook. We'd love to have everybody.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.